Hello, I'm James Wilson.
And I'm Matthew Rowney.
Now, here on Who Addicts Reviews, we would just like to thank Jacob Martin because he's pretty much responsible for this video, and he's the reason why this video is up right now.
Yes, so he is just as responsible for this as we are, so put in the comments, thank you, Jacob.
Yes, but without further ado, and thank you to Jacob for this, here is our review of Flatline. Well then, ladies and gentlemen, this review is actually happening!
Well, somehow we are recording this on a phone. All of the videos had been done on a phone. And yeah, don't thank us for this. Thank Jacob Martin for actually editing this together. If he does end up editing this, I think he will be. So yeah, comment below, everyone, put hashtag thank you Jacob, because we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for him offering to help.
Yeah, pretty much. As you guys know, for those of you who haven't been keeping up to date on our Facebook page or, you know, been watching our recent major updates on the channel, we have had a bit of a problem with our web browser. And well, you know, because my sister deleted the frickin' thing. But basically, I can't use my computer anymore to upload the videos, which, you know, kind of made it a problem. But we are having to use my phone to, you know, record the review, basically.
Yeah, and we now have to go back to noting on paper.
Yes,
so yeah,
we've gone back to the Stone Age, ladies and gentlemen.
We really have.
Yes, we have. I feel like from an unearthly child, you know, well, like they barely had any money at all. But anyway, so let's begin reviewing Flatline. Of course, let's start with the opening. Of course, you need that traditional guy dies at the beginning thing to like set up the monster and stuff like that. You always need someone to die in the opening scene, don't you? It's traditional.
Yeah, it's the perfect way to start a Doctor Who story, really. They try and vary it up a bit, but yeah, the best way to start a story is to have a guy, an innocent guy that you instantly like, get killed straight away.
Yeah. Oh, poor guy he got.
No, but I got to say, we'll talk about the Boneless later, but they were brilliant. They were fantastic.
They really were. We'll definitely get onto that. And but yes, then we go to Clara, who has pretty much been keeping secrets from the Doctor. I love that, you know, it's usually the Doctor that's keeping secrets from his companions, but Clara is keeping just as many secrets away from the Doctor, which I think is a great sort of switch around.
Yeah,
I think that definitely adds a lot to the story, that Clara is lying to the Doctor as much as the Doctor's lying to Clara about certain things.
Yeah, they definitely compared the two of them in this episode a lot. They showed how Clara can be like the Doctor in this, as she had to kind of play the role of the Doctor. So yeah, it was an interesting twist on both the Doctor and the companion in this, because Clara was the Doctor and Rigsy was the companion. So, it was an interesting take on the characters. The TARDIS shrinking, I thought, was a funny idea. Yeah. Of course, we saw leaked filming pictures months ago now of the TARDIS shrinking, and we were all discussing what it could be. But yeah, I thought it was quite funny to see the TARDIS shrink literally to an action figure sort of size. Yeah. I thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah, we definitely capitalised on that joke in our preview opening titles.
Yes, back when we had internet.
Yeah, back when we had internet. Weren't those great times? Damn you past selves, I'm jealous of you. But anyway... but yes, you're right, the shrinking TARDIS was definitely, I think, shot brilliantly as well.
Yeah, it took a lot of good CGI.
Yeah, exactly. And it's all about dimensions, you know, and how they can be messed with. The TARDIS on the outside was completely shrunk, and yet the TARDIS was exactly the same size on the inside. And as Jamie Matheson did say in Doctor Who Extra, you know, it was kind of messing about with the phrase "bigger on the inside," and I liked that. And as the Doctor said, you know, that statement has never been truer.
Yeah,
you know, and I really think that was a very funny take on the Doctor Who mythos, I think, and we'll talk about. I know it's a quite small aspect, and we all know that Adam Charlton is quite, you know, excited. I think he's decided to get the Sage mode TARDIS.
Yeah.
He's getting that through the post, I think, and
Adam has everything. Doctor
Yeah,
Who.
he does. Anything memorabilia, you'll just have everything. He'll have, I don't know, David Tennant's hair,
No.
a lock of his hair or something. I wouldn't put it past him.
I'd pay £1 million for that.
Oh, I certainly
But yeah,
would
I
as well.
agree with you. I think it was very interesting how they took on the TARDIS being literally bigger on the inside. Literally, like, for once, it really is a lot smaller on the outside and it's huge on the inside.
Yeah.
But I think no matter how good or bad this episode could have been, it could have been the best ever, the worst ever. You can't fault how much and how well they worked on this. Like, the Doctor Who team put so much effort into this. There was, like, phone calls with Clara outside of the TARDIS, the Doctor in the TARDIS. They have to be very organised.
Yeah,
they edited well.
Yeah.
In Doctor Who Extra, we saw, like, later on in the story when the Boneless took 3D form, the actual effort that they went to make them look all, when they looked all jagged and electronic. They have to take actors in, stand them on a little circular
like
podium.
radio static sort of thing.
Like the editing that they did.
Oh,
I mean,
God,
you cannot fault the effort that was put into this episode. No matter how much you like it or hate it, they put a lot of effort in. And you've got to admire that. I think.
Definitely. I think they put a lot into this episode. But yes, now do you think this episode kind of lacked a bit of pace? I did sort of think that. I think it got slower, then faster, then slower again. Because I think there were some scenes that could have been cut, some lines that could have been missed out, just some little bits that weren't really all that needed, and so I do think that pacing in this episode was the most off I think I've ever seen in an episode.
Yeah, well, I was going to get onto that. I didn't know when we wanted to talk about pacing because it's kind of something that was happening throughout. But yeah, I agree. The pacing of this episode, more on rewatch, I noticed that it was quite slow through the beginning.
Yeah, you were kind of like, get on with it.
Yeah, now I know what's happened. Rewatching it, I kind of thought, right, I know what's happening. I don't need to watch this scene, and then it got a bit quick at the end. So yeah, I think out of all the episodes this series, I mean, they've been quite well paced, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I think this was a little off paced, but I wouldn't say it affected the episode incredibly.
No, it still made me enjoy it, which I think was definitely a good thing.
A massive part of the episode, well, it pretty much was the main part, was Clara posing as the Doctor.
Yeah.
Like we said, Rigsy was her companion. I thought it was a nice way, and I thought they incorporated this into the script quite well. That they kind of made the Doctor see what he's like through Clara.
Yeah.
Like there was a few scenes like the scene on the train at the end where Clara was just saying, "Oh, the Doctor will say this. Oh yeah, I'll give you this, and I'll never forget you. You were very heroic and all this." And I like the way that the Doctor was kind of saying, "Oh, you don't have to shove your companions in the deep end, don't you?"
Yeah.
Like really comparing the Doctor to himself. So
yeah.
I think this was another good episode, another good way of seeing what the 12th Doctor's like.
Yeah, and another great thing that Clara said was give them hope. The Clara has definitely, I think, learned the bad side of the 12th Doctor.
I think they're trying to put across that she actually has been with the Doctor too long now.
Yeah, and I think they're trying to put across that she's starting to, the 12th Doctor is starting to shine on her a lot more.
Not necessarily in a good way.
No, not necessarily in a good way. I hate to talk about this before we've done the preview on it, but I can't resist. In the recent DWM, Stephen Moffat did say that Clara and the Doctor, the finale will pretty much put across that Clara has, the Doctor has rubbed off on Clara, not necessarily in a good way, and you can definitely see that in this episode. Clara is learning from the Doctor, but not in a good way, and that's pretty much what the Doctor says at the end of the episode, which we'll get to. But yes, you're right, Clara taking on the role as the Doctor. See, like I said in our preview, with Doctor Light episodes, I didn't really feel like it was Doctor Light.
It wasn't really.
I mean, I'd hate to use that as a pun, Doctor Light, because the TARDIS was a bloody action figure. But
that's a pun.
But no, I didn't feel like it was Dr. Light, because quite a lot of Dr. Light stories, the companion is in danger. Actually, in fact, since the modern era, it's been both Doctor and companion Light. The Doctor and companion have been, completely off, and it's been the supporting cast that's been keeping the episode up and going, like Love and Monsters and like Blink. But with this episode, I think it led to a different dynamic, considering that it was solely the Doctor that was kind of out of the picture, and it was Clara that was having to deal with all the things that the Doctor would, and of course, as what I was getting onto, how do you think the Doctor himself, knowing the 12th Doctor how we do now over these past 7 or 8 episodes, how exactly would you have pictured him with that old man who was like looking after all of that old man that we both know we wanted him to die.
Yeah,
we wanted him to die the worst death.
I hated him.
I hated him. But but in pure honesty and just out of curiosity, how do you think the 12th Doctor would have dealt with this man? Because they are both sort of old men. They're both grumpy. They would both kind of yell at you. And, you know, do you think they would sort of react to each other the same way? I'm just wondering about what their dynamic would be.
I think the Doctor would have told him to shut up. To be honest, I do. I think the Doctor would have. I think he'd have got under the Doctor's skin a lot more than Clara. I think Clara was quite patient and, she was quite smart and quite kind, really, and she was quite mature, but I think the Doctor would have just got down with it and said, you know, shut up, I'm in charge here. There were a few moments where Clara snapped at him and Rigsy snapped at him, but the Doctor, I think, would have took no crap. I mean, I hated him. I mean, I think that was how he was written, for every line that he says, for us to literally hate his guts. But yeah, the Doctor summed it up really well at the end when he said that not necessarily the right people always survive. Yeah. But I hated his character. I thought the side cast was quite good. Not as good as last week with Mummy on the Orient Express. But yeah, I think Rigsy was a great character. Yeah, the way that he was the companion to Clara was very interesting too.
Yeah, definitely. And it was the same thing with Voyage of the Damned, you know, that rich, posh, totty sort of guy that only cared about himself and only cared about his money.
Was it
Jackson
Slade?
Jackson Slade or something like that. And he was talking to the Doctor and he was saying, "I sold all my shares. It's made me filthy rich. What do you think of that?" And you could tell the Doctor on his face he wanted to lamp him one.
Yeah.
But you know, it's the 12th Doctor made it just as true as the 10th Doctor did in Voyage of the Damned. You know, there are certain people who survive and some people die, and the good people definitely died in this episode, and I think it's what brought strength to the deaths. I think the fact that they were nice people and the fact that they died like that, and that old man bloody survived. You know.
Yeah, it's a lesson really, that not all doesn't matter what happens, things don't always go your way. That was quite a good moral lesson. But let's talk about the Boneless, because they, for me, were the best part about this episode. They were fantastic. They were new,
Rigsy
original.
aside, Rigsy was a great character.
Rigsy is brilliant, but I think the Boneless were they were something new, something original, and I can see them returning, if I'm honest. And the way that they killed was literally, I had to kind of, you know, when you want to look away but you can't.
Yeah.
It was that, and I don't get that much with monsters in Doctor Who. It was new.
Yeah.
When the police woman's leg was kind of going into the floor, and when was it George? When he was kind of put on the wall and he was stood still, and then the camera panned and we saw him get stretched.
Yeah, that's both great direction, but it's also, you know, what disturbed me was the fact that just a second ago I saw him completely alive and well.
Yeah.
You know, and then the next minute it's like he's completely assimilated to the wall. It brought creepiness to it, and like I said, I was just like, oh, I didn't know George all that well, but he was a nice guy. Yeah, I like George.
One thing I said in the preview that I said I wanted quite a lot is I said that I hope that these creatures don't turn out to be happy, and the Doctor doesn't end up finding out that they're just lost creatures.
Yes, I know what you're getting to.
I said this in the preview. I said I hope that they don't turn out to be really nice and they're just lost, trying to understand our world. And the Doctor sends them off into their universe. And as I was watching this episode, you know, when they were listening to them through the speakers, and the Doctor was like, maybe they just want to understand us. I was like, okay, the Doctor is not judging them. That's new. I hope that they are not nice. And then when obviously we found out that they were not nice and the Doctor was wrong to judge them and they turned out that they did just want to kill, I was thrilled. Yeah. I was really happy. I got my wish, and I'm glad that they were literally sinister and they just wanted to kill.
Yeah,
I liked that.
It let us into the Doctor's way of thinking, really. His thought process, his sort of way of thinking. It shows that the Doctor isn't as harsh, you know, because in the past, of course, in past episodes, the 12th Doctor has kind of let nice people die, but as we know from last week, you know, these good people, you know, they had to die, you know, for the sake of, you know, like, no one else dying.
And the one time he does trust somebody, they turn out to be bad.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it shows something that I think Clara is rubbing off on the Doctor. Really, I think I think it's definitely having a very reverse effect. Clara,
like one's going one way and the other's going the other. Like the Doctor's coming a bit more.
Clara is finding the the death, the destruction, the running. She's finding all that exhilarating and exciting, and she likes that.
Yeah.
And
She's tried to avoid it.
Exactly.
And at the end of
yeah, exactly,
Mummy on the Orient
exactly.
Express.
You said last week that you were hoping that this didn't, that the ending of Mummy on the Orient Express came to bite her on the arse. I think it has in this episode.
I think
in
it
a very
will
subtle
continue
way.
to, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's continued, not in the way that it's affected Clara as she can notice, but I think it's sort of affecting her in a way, as in she's sort of like when they called it an addiction. You know, I think that it's the addiction getting worse.
I think Clara's
really.
getting addicted, to be honest. I think the addiction's starting to rub off on her, which is quite scary because of the scene at the end of the episode, you know, when Clara was looking at the doctor kind of saying, just tell me I was good.
Yeah.
Like she was desperate to kind of be accepted by the doctor. Like she was desperate to be like him. She was like, just tell me I'm a good doctor, I'm like you. And the doctor kind of looked back at her like he was looking in the mirror in deep breath.
Yeah.
And he saw himself and he kind of went, oh my god, this is what I am now.
Yeah.
It almost felt like the doctor was looking in the mirror again at the end of Flatline.
Yeah.
Clara was saying, just tell me I'm a good doctor, and he kind of looked at her and he was like, you were an exceptional doctor. But he didn't look like he was happy for her.
No.
He wasn't like, yeah, you were great, well done, you were just like me. He was kind of like, yeah, you were good, but that's not a good thing.
Yeah,
you should not be becoming like me.
No. I mean, the 12th Doctor's definitely got his demons, I think, and
Yeah.
and he definitely doesn't want that for Clara. So it just it makes it obvious all the more that Clara is reaching her demise, I think.
Yeah.
And
I think she will be pushed too far.
Yeah, definitely, and I think it's been. And what you said, going back to what you said last week about you hope that the ending of Mummy kind of comes to bite her on the ass. What were you hoping from that, and are you happy with how it has bitten her on the ass in this episode?
Yeah, I'm really happy. Like I thought that maybe just one big thing will happen in the finale, which will just bite her on the ass. But if it's slowly going to bite her on the ass and slowly creep up on her, like it has done in this episode, and it might continue to, then that would be really good. Like if she's if Clara has a moment where she's kind of like if she has a I've gone too far moment.
Yeah.
Like maybe she does something and then she stops and thinks, oh my god, I've gone too far.
I think it would be great because
why have I done this?
Yeah, and we'll go on to more of this in the preview, but just saying it very, very briefly, Danny is in next week's episode, so and he's taking a major part like he did in The Caretaker. So maybe Danny is of course kind of realizing that Clara is changing, and it's the Doctor that's changing her. You know, and maybe Danny might really go mad at the Doctor and really might, you know, sort of throttle him in a way because Clara is changing, and not in a good way.
No.
You know, it's like the Doctor is sort of rubbing off, and as we know from this episode, in the ending, like we said, the Doctor isn't happy about this.
No, he doesn't look happy.
He doesn't look happy that this is what Clara's becoming. So I think that this character development with Clara in this season, in this episode, in fact, I think is definitely something I'm looking forward to. I'm not saying Clara become evil, like mwahaha sort of thing, but of course I'm saying something like Clara becoming the Doctor, and that isn't a good thing.
Yeah, I do think that the way that the characters have been written this series is probably some of the best character writing we've had in a long, long time.
Yeah,
you know, the Doctor's been developed to be really dark and untrustworthy, and he's slowly becoming a bit nicer. Clara's going the opposite direction, and then there's Danny in the middle who's kind of trying to control Clara, but she's lying to both of them at the same time. It's gonna, I think it's gonna end brilliantly.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the episode itself and the ending.
Yeah.
Are we okay talking about the ending?
Well, there is one question I want to pose. We were never actually sure about the old man, because I really thought this was going to lead somewhere.
Yeah, I
because
did. I know what you mean.
Why did that old man beat the psychic paper? I mean, the only men that have beat the psychic paper have been very, very intelligent men.
Shakespeare.
William Shakespeare, people trained at Torchwood, you know, and those are the only people who've really beat psychic paper, or people who know the Doctor very well, you know. And this old man, he's working for the council. He's working for the council in Bristol. And
no offence, Bristol councillors.
No abuse whatsoever. And he's looking after criminals, basically. So he doesn't seem like he'd be the most intelligent man in the world. Yes, he's grumpy to hell. Yes, I want him to fricking die.
Yeah.
But he didn't seem like the smartest man in the world. He didn't look like a guy who could possibly outwit the psychic paper.
Yeah.
And as the Doctor said, it takes an unbelievable amount of less amount of imagination. I didn't know whether that was a stab at Clara, the fact that she doesn't have that much imagination, or it's or maybe it was the Doctor saying that about the old man, that he didn't have that much imagination.
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to lead to something. I doubt it. Like
I don't think so.
I can't see this old man coming back as a mastermind behind the Promised Land or anything ridiculous. So
No.
it might just be one of them things that's just kind of left open and
Yeah.
they're not going to go back to it. But yeah, I get what you mean. It was
Yeah.
I did think it was going to lead to somewhere. But yeah, the ending where one thing I really loved and I thought was very, very clever was them graffitiing on the door, because of course Rigsy played a very major part in this. He jumped in the train, he nearly sacrificed his own life, and then of course his graffiti art, of course people think, oh, he's only a graffiti artist in community service, what good's he gonna do? But they used what he's good at to their advantage, and them graffitiing the door kind of worked against them. And like Clara said something in this episode, rule number 1 about being the Doctor, use your enemy's power against them.
Yeah.
And I loved that. I loved how they graffitied on the door to fool the enemy and charge the TARDIS. That was really clever writing. I really did think that was good.
Yeah, that was very good. That was a great way of ending the episode, I think, or at least giving it a solution.
Yeah.
To their current problem, which was, of course, these creatures had the power now anyway to make it, make 2D things 3D.
Yeah.
And to trick them into powering the TARDIS back up again, and basically tricking them into, causing their own demise, I thought was a very clever way, like Clara said, using it against them. But of course, I know you want to talk about it, the Sonicking at the end, right? The Doctor did say a line in the episode, so I'm going to justify this, right? The Doctor did say in the episode that he's found a way of defeating the creatures, but the TARDIS hasn't got enough power to do it. So, I know what you're saying about the Sonicking, but that force field that was keeping the boneless back, I think was what the Doctor was talking about.
Yeah.
And the Sonicking, I think, was a necessary shortcut, I think, because all he did was just zap the Sonic to then expand the force field and then get rid of the boneless. So I think it was a justified.
It worked. Like, I'm not going to say it didn't work or anything like that. It worked, and the plot required it to happen.
It was useful.
Yeah, it was useful, and it needed to happen. The plot required it, but obviously, I think this episode took a few necessary shortcuts, like we said earlier. The pacing was quite off. It was quite slow, and then it went quite quick. And I think that ending kind of showed that they were kind of thinking, oh God, we need to finish this in 45 minutes. We need a necessary shortcut. Sonic, boom. And I know it worked. It's not like in The Power of Three, where literally the zap of the Sonic defeated everything. It worked well. It made sense. But of course, the plot required it to, and I think that's to do with the pacing.
Yeah, well, because that's the thing. I mean, in The Power of Three, it was literally the Sonic that did everything. It was the Sonic literally saved the day, but it was still kind of Clara, Rigsy's great graffiti art.
Yeah.
It was that kind of saved the day, and I think you've got to look past the whole Sonicking thing.
Oh yeah.
And I think you've got, I think you've got to think of it as it was Clara and Rigsy that saved the day, not the Doctor.
Yeah, I'm thinking of it that way.
But it was an awesome moment when he walked out the TARDIS and said, "The monster seems to be the role that you've chosen to play. So now I'm going to play mine, the man who defeats the monsters. I'm the Doctor." And oh my God, that moment was just
yeah.
I'm a sucker for nostalgia.
A lot of people say that was his Doctor moment, but yeah, that was a fantastic moment, and I don't think it doesn't matter what any scene's like. That's always going to make you have a little bit of giddiness.
Oh, of course.
But yeah, I agree with you. Like, as much as I am known for hating the sonic screwdriver and stuff, but the plot required it. Like, we can all say that the ending could have been better. We can all say that the ending could have been executed better, but it could have been a million times worse. Yeah. It worked. Let's just say that. Then something else happened, which I did not see coming.
No.
Missy.
Yeah.
This.
Well, with it being so close to the finale, you could have seen it coming. I mean, yes, in a few episodes they have taken that Missy has had her time off. I suppose like the Promised Land has been nowhere near as referenced in some episodes. In fact, what episodes were there where it was like 4 episodes straight? It was from Robot of Sherwood to the Caretaker, where like it wasn't referenced at all.
Yeah, she appeared in Deep Breath Into the Dalek, and then I don't think she was in it at all until
the Caretaker.
Yeah, the Caretaker, I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But I didn't know to expect something or not. But when we saw Missy pop up and she said, "Oh, my Clara, I've picked you well," or something.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just sparked debate. And we
yeah.
are planning on Hermit United, which is a channel we really do not advertise enough. Go subscribe to that now. But yeah, a channel with 10 of us, 10 Whovians. We are going to be doing a live hangout soon on who we think Missy is before the finale. So, stick around for that. But yeah, that was a gobsmacking ending.
Yeah.
And I think, I've said this before and I'll say it again. The story arc's setting up to be very, very good. Like, they've not forced it down our throats each week, like with the crack, like with the Doctor's death. Like, each week they were going, "Oh, the crack's here, oh, the Doctor's going to die." I think this series, they've subtly built it up.
Yeah.
And I think that's helped with it being a straight season, not split.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's shaping up to be very, very good.
I think this is how standalone episodes work, I think. Yes, there were a few sort of continuity
to be honest, they've
problems.
not actually been that standalone.
No,
Have you noticed from Kill the Moon, well, actually from The Caretaker up until now, they've had the same overlapping story arc of Clara balancing life between the Doctor and Dice. So it's actually not been that standalone.
No,
really.
the standalone concept has really been subtly a very subtle and very small difference.
It's not like they forgot about last week.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, as we know from Series 6, Stephen Moffat, in Series 6, he kind of made it so that he was isolating new fans who were coming into the show, and then he did the exact opposite in Series 7, where he couldn't get it right again. He isolated regular fans, people who were regular fans who'd been watching it since the beginning. So Moffat just couldn't get it fucking right. Series 6 he was isolating new fans. Series 7 he was isolating regulars, so he couldn't get it right. But in Series 8 he's actually got it right.
Yeah.
New fans can come in and regulars can watch it. I'm not ashamed to say it. He got it right.
Yeah, and maybe this might be the series that makes you change your mind on Moffat. We'll see. But yeah,
we will see.
Yeah, there's still a lot more work to be done yet. So do you want to conclude on Flatline?
Yes, certainly.
You can go first.
Oh, well, thank you very much. You're feeling very, very generous today.
Yes, I really am.
Yes, Jamie Matheson has created a stunning episode this week, as the monster known as the Boneless were creepy and original. It was slow in the beginning, but when the deaths started to pile up, it got interesting. Clara having to take on the role of the Doctor, I think, gave her a better or worse understanding of how the Doctor lives his life, which the Doctor, as we know, was not very happy about. The old man, I desperately wanted to die horribly, and Rigsy was a good and likeable character. The way they shot the shrunken TARDIS was very good, but the episode lacked a sense of pace. But I still really enjoyed it. 7.5 out of 10.
Okie dokie. My conclusion. Flatline was a very clever and creepy episode that was new and original. The Doctor and Clara were both brilliant, as well as a good side cast, like Rigsby, who I thought was a fantastic character, although, like you said, I really hated that old man and he really should have died. The Boneless were up there for me as one of the best and most creepy villains of the series so far. The way that they were trusted, only to then continue killing, was very gruesome and very hard to watch at times. Clara playing the Doctor was funny, and it showed an interesting take on the Doctor's character, showing him from a new perspective, although at times I thought it seemed like the Sonic was only being used just to make Clara seem like more of the Doctor, and it seemed like she was kind of aimlessly using it throughout. Despite the ending being a slight Sonic saves the day moment, like I said, the plot required it, which makes me go on to the pacing, which, like I said, felt a bit inconsistent as it dragged in places at the start and then seemed to be rushed towards the end. Finally, the ending with Missy left me picking my jaw up off the floor, as it made the story arc ever more interesting. Overall, Flatline wasn't exactly standout, but it wasn't bad either. I enjoyed it, so I'm going to give it a solid 7 out of 10.
Brilliant. Well, you gave it a was that 7 out of 10? You
yeah, I've upped my rating. I was going to give it a low rating to begin with. You've upped your rating. Oh no, you haven't.
No, 7.5.
But yeah, my rating's gone up a little bit.
Yeah. Okay then, guys, so we hope you guys have enjoyed this review. A lot of people had been complaining about the audio Movie Maker on my computer, and I don't know, maybe my sister's actually done us a favour. Hey, is the audio better? Please do tell us in the comments section if you're one of those people who like a good audioed
And
review.
Is Jacob better at editing videos? Should
Yes.
we just give up and give the channel to Jacob?
Yeah.
Should we retire and make it Jacob Reviews?
All right.
Who
okay,
knows? We'll
Okay.
see.
All right. Okay. Don't give Jacob a big head, for goodness sake. He'll be asking us, Matthew, James, are you going to, when you decide to leave, are you going to give the channel to me? No, Jacob. But anyway, so then, guys, we will see you next time. So then, guys, we hope you enjoyed our review of Flatline. Please do like this video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and comment in the section below what you guys thought of Flatline and what you would rate it out of 10.
Yes, and we will answer them in the preview of next week's episode on Friday when we preview it, which is
In the forest of the night.
In the forest of the night.
Yes, in the forest of the night.
Of the forest.
It's written by Frank Cottrell Boise. Can you say that?
Frank
Cottrell
Boise.
Yeah.
On the night in the forest.
See you on Friday!
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe to Hermit United because we do not advertise that channel enough, so go and subscribe to Hermit United, which is a co-op channel with 10 of us and 8 of us.